So we're gonna go back a couple years. We're gonna go back to December 27th, 2023. And this was the day I was diagnosed with diabetes. Now, to understand how this all started, we have to go back 2 days. Well, I actually have to go back about 3, because it all started the 24th of December, Christmas Eve. I'm gonna get it up personal, so bear with me. I had thought I had a UTI, and I was like, that's odd. But I didn't think too much of it. I don't know why, but I thought it was just gonna go away eventually. So the 24th goes by, the 25th, the 26th, and now it's like, okay, it's been 3 whole days. 3 whole days. And, well, nothing has happened. Nothing has gotten better. Nothing has gotten worse, but nothing has gotten better. So I go up to my parents, and I'm like, hey, I think I might have a UTI. And they're like, huh, okay, let's go ahead and get you to the doctors. So we go to the doctors, we do the whole thing, and then we go home, because the doctor's like, well, we don't see anything. We're pretty sure it's not a UTI, you should be okay. We don't see anything. So I go home. So it's the 26th at around 10 p.m. Dad comes into the living room, and he's like, hey, traveler, hey, weird question. Well, he doesn't phrase like that, but I'm just, because it's how we talk. Anyways, he's like, hey, have you been feeling more thirsty than normal? And I'm like, yeah. Because fun fact, if you didn't know, one of the main things, one of the main things with diabetes is, especially if you're high, you're going to the bathroom so much more. And this is for like undiagnosed, untreated diabetes. And the reason that you're going to the bathroom so much more is because your body is trying to flush out everything, right? But while you're doing that, you need sustenance. You need liquid in you constantly, because you're constantly flushing out stuff, so you need to have something in you so you can flush it out, right? So I was constantly drinking water, I was constantly drinking juice, I was just trying to keep myself from like dehydrating almost. And it wasn't dehydration, it felt like it, but it wasn't. Anyways, so anyways, he comes up to me, he's like, hey, have you been needing to go to the bathroom more? Have you been needing to drink more? Multiple other questions. I'm like, yeah. And so then he's like, huh, okay, well, I thank you for the information. And then he goes back into his room with my mother, and he comes out a few moments later, and he's like, don't be alarmed, but the doctor was on the phone, and they had called us to let us know that you might have diabetes. And at first I was like, what does that even mean? Because realistically, as normal people, you don't really know what diabetes is. You might see it a lot in, like, media, or you might hear about it, but you don't actually know what it is. You don't actually know what's happening. So I didn't know what was happening. So I go to bed that night, and then I wake up the next morning. This is now the 27th, right? So it's the 27th. I wake up at 8 a.m. and we go to the hospital. Oh, we go to the doctor, not the hospital. We go to the doctor. And I always find this part funny because, one, they called us again at nighttime to cover their own, to cover their ass, to be like, well, if we don't call back immediately and tell this girl that she has diabetes, and something could happen. Um, but anyways, I go back at 8 a.m. when they open the next day, and um, we wait for them to actually open up, and we go inside. They do more testing, and um, they like they come. It takes them an hour. It takes them over an hour to come into the room to tell me I am diabetic.
And with this part, they no one told me if it was type 1 or type 2. So for 2.5 days, I just didn't know which one I had. My parents were hoping it was type 2, and I was kind of hoping it was type 1. And the reason I was hoping it was type 1, because as far as I knew, type 2 means that you did it to yourself. And I did not want that knowledge of knowing that I had basically fucked up my body so bad. So they were hoping for type 2 from more of like a parent standpoint, being like, we can cure type 2, we can't cure type 1. But yeah, so that's just a little, yeah.
We don't know which one yet. All we know is that I am diabetic. My blood sugar was about 296, 297. When I got to the doctor that morning on the 27th at 8 a.m., my blood sugar was 290. And I was like, well, is that a normal blood sugar? Is that like, because I didn't know what normal blood sugar was. Because again, if you're not diabetic, you don't know what a normal blood sugar is. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, was I want to say, at least for me, I think this is just normal blood sugar, but it should be 74 to 130 is like average. It's like where you want to be at. If you're a little over it, it's fine. You don't want to be under 70. You don't want to be under 70, but you can be over 130 to about 190. And then that's when you want to stop being like, okay, I need to take insulin. But anyways, that's getting off topic. Oh, it's on topic, but that's a ramble. Anyways, so we sit at the doctor's office for like an hour to wait for them to come in and tell us. And then we go home. We go home and we get prepared to go to the hospital. Because they tell us that we have to go to the hospital. Because of course you do, because you can't just deal with this on your own. You have to go to professionals. So me and my dad, we get in the car and we go to the hospital. After, getting everything, getting a change of clothes, doing, because I'm going to be there for 3 days. So we get to the hospital, we do everything that we need to do, and then we just wait. We just wait for them to be like, yeah, we have a room ready for you, and you can come in. Which, by the way, I had started my day off at about 7 in the morning, and I got to the hospital around, I want to say, like 8:30 to 9. I don't exactly remember, but what I do remember is that I was not allowed to eat anything that entire day because, one, my blood sugar was so high.
It's funny to think about that, like 200, now that I've been doing this for so long, like 200 isn't even, like, I consider it high because it is high, but it's like, it's not at the same time. Because I've seen higher, but yeah, dude, now that I think about it, when I first started off, I was like, damn, 200's high, but now it's like, yeah, I just don't want to be at 200, but it's not high. It is, but it isn't, if you know what I mean.
And as well as, like, it just wouldn't be wise to eat anything. So we get to the hospital, we wait. My dad goes home to, talk with my siblings and, calm the younger ones, talk to the older two. Well, I'm the second oldest, but I talk to my two brothers and then call my younger sisters. And then my mom stays at the hospital with me. Me and her are talking and chilling, and just waiting for them to be like, yeah, no, your room's ready. So, boom, at like, I want to say late 4, because what I remember is they serve dinner at like 5 o'clock. So, yeah, we get to there like mid 4, and they're like, yeah, you're gonna be here for a few days. If you have any food preferences, let us know. If not, just we're gonna have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you every day. So, I'm chilling. I'm watching, I think, Finding Nemo with my mom and my dad, and we're just vibing. We're just chilling. Something I do remember, because this was like super funny to me at the moment, because I wasn't allowed to eat anything. When it was finally time for them to like serve dinner, at like 5 p.m., which I thought was a little funny, but like that's how they have to do it. But anyways, when they finally served dinner, I was like, yeah, I don't know how much of this pasta, because it was like pasta, fruit, it's something else, I forget. But it's like, yeah, I don't know how much of this pasta I'm going to eat, but I'll say I'll probably eat over half of it, so like 75. So like, all right, cool. So we are going to dose for 75% of the pasta, because that's mainly the carbs. That is everything, right? It's mainly the carbs. So I eat the pasta, and how my mom described it, because this is still very funny to me, how my mom described it was like, she had looked away from the plate for like 2 seconds, and when she looked back, it was gone. Because I had to leave some, because again, we had to dose properly. So I had to leave some, and I was kind of upset about that, because like, this was really good. It was really good. But yeah, so I like devoured the food, because I was starving. Oh my god, I was so hungry. But yeah, so that's basically what happened and how I got diagnosed. And in the 3 days afterwards, or the 2 days afterwards,
Something else I do remember, I not only had to take a fast acting, but I also had to take a nighttime shot. Fast acting is just the normal insulin, the insulin you take for carbs. The nighttime is the one that you take, well, for nighttime. The nighttime one lasts for 24 hours. The fast acting only lasts for 3, right? So, I remember because I was only there for like 2 nights, but the 2 nights I was there, I had gotten the nighttime shot in my arm. And another thing with the nighttime shot is it has to be a lot. Like, it's not like how my fast acting could like it's about maybe 15 to 25. Like right now it's 25, but like the lowest went down to was 8. But like the fact that like my fast acting's lower than what my long term is, because it was so much more insulin, you don't want to put that much insulin into a part of your body that isn't going to be active. Because, like, I do the nighttime in my stomach because it's a lot easier to have it disperse. But I did it in my arms, not knowing that if you did it in your arms and you don't move your arms, that you are yeah, it's gonna hurt, like, a lot. Like, ow, kind of pain.
we're kind of just chill. Kind of just, getting used to the fact that I now have to do carb calculations. I now have to be aware of, if I eat something, it's gonna blow me up. Or if I eat something like pasta, or if I eat something like mashed potatoes, those kinds of foods, those kinds of foods are gonna blow me up quickly. But something like cheese isn't going to, or something like, it's another thing that would blow me up. Meat, certain kinds of meats won't, they don't have, it's just protein, there's no carbs. So, another thing that I like really loved was while we were waiting for the room to be prepared, they gave me this little pink teddy bear, and I was like, I would not let go of the teddy bear. I loved that thing. I still have it somewhere around the house. I don't know where. I kind of lost her, but yeah. I named her Iris. She was my hospital buddy. I loved her. I would not let go of her. I loved her so much. She was so cute. Oh my god. One of the things I remember when I got back to the house was he would do this thing where he would grab multiple packs of muffins, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like how you would get like cake batter. It would just be like that, but with muffins, and anyways, he would take muffins, and he would take about 3 to 4 different kinds of them, and put them all into like one mixture. So you could get like mixed berry, you could get blueberry, you could get chocolate chip. Like you would take about 4 different muffins, put them all into one mixture, mix them all together, and it would be delicious. Oh my god. I wish he would do them again. They were so good. So anyways, I get back to the house, right? It has now been 3 days. I now know what I need to do, carb count, everything. Right? So I get back, and my dad had made the muffins. And like I was like, oh my god, I want a muffin. I so badly want a muffin. So we get a muffin. So I take a muffin. I take 2. So I'm like, I want 2. I want 2. So I take 2. So I'm in my room, right? We had dosed appropriately. We took my blood sugar, everything. I go to my room with the 2 muffins. I eat them so quickly. They were so good. They are both gone. So anyways, so I'm in my room. I'm chilling. I'm vibing. I'm playing Skyland show. I'm just not even thinking about nothing. And so then my dad comes in. It's been 3 hours because again, another thing with insulin, that you have to wait 3 hours for it to work. So what me and my dad had figured out was one, well, after doing this for like now 2 years, is one, you have the first hour for it to work. The second hour, it's practically done. Because after an hour and a half, hour 45, it's pretty much peaked, and like all the insulin that's going to be working has already gone through, right? But you still have to wait another hour and a half for the insulin to completely be gone. So we waited 3 hours. I'm in my room. I'm chilling. I'm vibing. My dad comes in and takes my blood sugar, right? And he takes my blood sugar, and I was at like 300 on the dot, and I was like, okay. First day home, and I'm already reaching 300. Okay, so so we had a little laugh. We dosed properly, you know. So another thing that you should probably know getting about managing diabetes at the beginning is there's something called a honeymoon phase, and it's basically where everything's a little haywire. So the everything like the calculations that you got at the beginning are not gonna be what you get at the end. So like at the beginning, like my carb count, like 1 unit for like like a certain amount of carbs, right? So like 1 unit of insulin would bring me down, was supposed to 8 units. So what that means is if I have 1 unit of insulin in me, it would bring me down 8 points. So if I was at 300, it would bring me down to 220. No, 292. What is wrong with me? What? 292. So at the beginning, it was 1 for 8. Now, where we're at right now, we believe it to be, if I remember correctly, one for 25. Yeah, at the beginning it was quite a it was not a lot, but now it's like one for every 25, which makes it easy because it means that 4 units is 100, 8 units is 200, 12 is 300. Like just it makes it easy. I can feel a low better than I can feel a high, because with a high, for me at least, I get really tired. If I'm high for too long, I just get tired. And the reason why it's harder for me to notice is if you can't already tell, everyone's tired all the time. Everyone just gets tired for whatever reason at any time. It doesn't matter. You just get tired, and so that's why I'm like, it's harder for me to notice a high than a low, because there'll be times where I'm just tired and I just want to lay down, and I'm not even high. But there'll be times where I'm tired, I want to lay down, and I am high and I can't go to sleep because I have to dose. But on the other hand, if I'm low, I'll know if I'm low, because yes, I'm also tired, but I'm also sluggish. And it's also difficult to stand and stay upright. And I'm also sweating. I also can't think straight. I'm also not making sense. If I'm around a bunch of people, I start to make no sense when I'm talking. So, these are just some things I've noticed over the I've noticed over the years. I've noticed over the couple of months, because I've only started to notice things more recently. But anyways, that's all basically I wanted to talk about, I think. But yeah, that's all I think I want to talk about. I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to go over certain things. Yeah. Thank you for watching.